Hello, thank you for joining me on this episode of You Had Options. Jason V of the Jasons joins us. Man, it was so fun. Great time talking to him. Go check out the Jasons. Just look up the Jasons on the internet. You know, they're on the Instagram, they're on the Facebooks. All their stuff is on all the Spotify's and the iTunes, Apple Music, all that stuff. You know, thank you guys for supporting the podcast. Make sure to go like, subscribe, all that stuff. At youhadoptions. I'm doing a Twitch now, which is fun, and you gotta go and follow it. You know, it's twitch.tv/youhadoptions. It's me playing video games and talking. I just interact with people, you know. But yeah, thank you so much.
Craft services.
I'm craft services. Yeah, I'm putting together a handful of Blue Diamond almonds for myself to enjoy.
Yes.
So Jason B, thank you for joining me.
No, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. One thing I like about you, well, there's multiple things. I'll list. I'm sure I'll list them out throughout the episode. But one thing I like about you is you are constantly producing content.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even before the pandemic went down, I think that was kind of our idea. You know, this whole bullshit that we're dealing with. You may not have left your house. I don't know. There's this pandemic happening outside of the room there, and you know. We were all about that even before then because I think people have a much shorter attention span
It's true.
than they did before the internet was a thing.
Right.
I certainly do.
Yeah. But you've been doing your own interviews. You guys have been did you guys do a live stream? I remember you guys did a live stream like whenever the pandemic first popped off, you guys were like on your way to do shows, and then
yeah we had we had a show booked in Baltimore that day. We are about 5 hours I think from Baltimore, so we got about 3 hours towards our show, and we got word that it was canceled, and so our guitar player Jason R, he's like pretty technically proficient, you know. Yeah. He's good with cameras and stuff. So we came back that day. So like the day they shut down the state, we came back that day and did a live stream, and we had like a virtual merch table and like, you know, just kind of, it was like fucking something to do. We were ready to play anyway. And that's the last time we did it though. We didn't, for me, it's not the same.
Right.
Ever,
for sure.
You know, especially for what we do, it's kind of weird. So we did that one, and it was cool, and we made a lot. We probably made more money on like our virtual merch table than we do at most shows, and we do good on merch. That's our strong suit, you know. But
right.
Like, I think people wanted to like, you know, commemorate we sold like physical tickets. You know, you buy a ticket to the virtual show, it's free, but you can pay, and we'll send you the ticket in the mail. And it was cool, but I think that one experience, we were like, yeah, we're good on that. Now, we did it early enough that we can say everybody else ripped us off, and that's what it's really about, you know.
Right. Yeah, you guys were the first. Literally, you were the bleeding edge.
Exactly. Never mind the fact that I think Code Orange did one like the day before, but you know, who are they? Who the fuck is Code Orange?
Code who? You know?
Right.
Yeah, but another thing I've always liked about y'all.
There's so many.
I'm listing them off right now. Number two, the merch. You guys, we've the Handsome Scoundrels have ripped you guys off on some stuff, some merch items, and so you guys have definitely influenced us in that way.
I mean, I hope so. And just it's the circle of merchandising Ouroboros. Like, you know, whenever I'm gonna bend over here. Don't look down my shirt. Let me see if
How
I can
could I not?
like when I picked up one that's not a great example, but when it's time to like figure out what to do for merch, you go to the fucking well of Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and well, Peter Criss is worthless, but you know what I'm
It's
saying.
true. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I think I always felt like if somebody walks into a show and there's a band over here with one T-shirt and a shitty burned CD, people think, well, that band's not worth, you know, well, what? They don't even care about their band enough to put their shit on a real record.
Right.
And so from the beginning, even when we didn't have any money, even when nobody cared about our merch, we presented our merch that looked like we were somebody. And I mean, it's all about perception. You know, you walk into the show and you see 15 T-shirt designs. Well, fuck, these guys must be worth checking out.
Big deal.
Yeah, yeah. So what merch did you guys do the Big League Chew?
We did.
That?
Yeah.
That's the best piece of merch. I swear to God. That's
Yeah,
the
because
best yeah. I remember that. That was cool.
Yeah, so we played with y'all up in Rochester, and we played with y'all. But that was the show where I was like, "Oh, you guys got Big League Chew." I was like, "Okay." Yeah. I think I was like, "How'd you guys do that?" And you told me the secret. I'm not gonna put it out on the air, but
great secrets.
great big secret. And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna steal that from you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, and if I remember correctly, not that I'm saying this was stolen from me, but I hope I feel a kinship with, because did not one of your guitar players also purchase a Kramer guitar after we played together and checked it out?
Yeah.
That makes me more happy, because I feel like more people need to play metal guitars and punk rock.
Yeah, I think Robert, the guitarist, I think he just felt like it was confirmation seeing you guys with Kramer's, being like, okay, I'm just going to do it. You know,
exactly.
I'm going to get a Beretta and we're just going to go with it.
And, you know, he chose correctly, because I've tried, for me, I started with the Kramer Beretta. I couldn't find the one I wanted. I wanted a yellow, like banana yellow Kramer Beretta. I found one in Canada. I drove to Canada to get it because they wouldn't ship it. And I got that guitar, was super happy with it. Since then, I've bought 4 more. And then recently I said, you know what, I'm going to try a different Kramer model. I did. And I like the other models, but the Beretta for me is going to always be the Apex Predator. So
where in Canada did you drive?
So I drove to Oshawa, and I forget I want to say, I think the store's like Laughlin and Wade or some shit. It sounds like a lawyer's office, but I drove all the way down there because that's the only place I could find this. And I don't have, it's not behind me. It's in my case somewhere, but it was like a yellow, banana yellow Kramer Beretta with the banana headstock. And it was just like, at that point I was searching to find a guitar. Like I was playing Jacksons. I was, just fucking around with all different ones. And when I played that one, I was like, that's the fucking one right there.
Right. Yeah. And you guys have been able to, finagle's the wrong word, but you've been able to open the eyes of Kramer up to you guys.
Yeah. You know what? Finagle's pretty much a good word, honestly.
I didn't want to say it.
We did, the way it happened, again, it goes back to that image thing. Like Jason 3D and I came up with the idea of doing a Jason's like printed fan club newsletter. I had the fucking poster hanging back there on my wall. like a ripoff of the Kiss Army.
Right.
And to do that, we made these folders and like newsletters. So when I was trying to get in touch with Kramer, I didn't go through their artist relations or any of that stuff. I found out the name of the dude that ran it. Shout out to Aljon Go. And
Shout out.
I sent them a fake, like a promo kit that would be like what the Jasons would release if they were Kramer artists from the 1970s. And I sent it to him, and it had like glossy, I probably got some of them. Yeah, here. I'm in my office. I keep all, so like photos like this. You know, we
shit.
shot these photos.
With the tiger,
And it was just like, you know, it was that, and it was like, yo, this is what we'll do for you. We'll be evangelists of your brand. And then I didn't hear anything. So I found the dude's fucking email, or I found his Facebook. I stalked him, and when I messaged him, he was like, yo, as a matter of fact, we just got that, and we were passing it around the office and talking about how it's the best promo we ever saw. I mean, we just stole it from Kiss.
Right.
But it was like, because originally Kramer, when we decided we were all going to play Kramers,
right,
there was a lull between like 2016 and like 2019 where Kramer seemed like it was dead. So we thought, yo, this will be really funny. We'll pretend we're endorsed by
a vintage guitar company. Yeah.
Yeah. But then they came back, and we were like, well, we got to fucking do it. So yeah. And as a matter of fact, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I haven't signed anything, so I guess I can say whatever the fuck I want. But we actually just like today found out, because it's very complicated when they were bringing their brand back. Right. They were like, yo, you know, you're going to be part of the Kramer family, and you can get, you know, we'll get you an artist discount.
Yeah.
But that was happening as it was being resurrected, and they were like, look, man, all our fucking instruments are going out to stores first and foremost. And all these years, like this year and a half later or whatever, finally today, Jason Hollywood was like, yo, I was talking to our Kramer guy, and they're going to work out, they're going to get me this guitar and blah, blah, blah. Whereas like, I was like, yo, he's a little bit more patient. I was like, no, man, I want this fucking Night Swan. I'm just going to fucking buy it because I'm going to play it no matter what.
Right.
But so finally, like, that has even come to fruition where, like, I guess we're getting our like artist discount or whatever. But for us, it was always, we're going to play Kramer because we want to. Anyway, like if Kramer's part of Gibson, if they had been like, yo, we'll give you a Gibson endorsement, we would have been like, no, man, because we don't want to play fucking Les Pauls. They're not about that.
You want to play a 40-pound Les Paul?
It's too fucking heavy.
Right.
Yeah, and there's no fucking way I'm going to play one of those. Oh, no, that's a Fender Telecaster. Those, I can't, those are too dorky, man. I can't play those.
No. So with the Kramer stuff, I've been looking around for a Kramer bass just because you guys are big Kramer people, and I was like just looking on Reverb. The last time they made a Kramer bass was like the 80s, right?
So I think in the current Kramer line, they have a bass. I know for sure because, 3D plays those vintage Kramers with the aluminum necks. And that's from a whole different time. You know, with Kramer being brand new, they're not going to bring those back probably for a while, if ever. But the Kramer bass that they have is cool, but it doesn't fit what we're doing. So he's still waiting too. Like every time they, release their catalog, like at NAMM and stuff, this past one, we were watching it and we were like, oh, what do they got? And we were all excited, and 3D's like, nah, I'm going to stick with my vintage because for my taste, the Kramer bass that they have currently looks very modern.
Oh, I got you.
And, we're in, like, here's a good example. I mean, in my mind, you see.
80s. 80s guitar.
Yeah, you want something that looks like it came from the 80s.
The Randy Rhoads polka dot, 80s.
Yeah. So, and Vivian Campbell, I think, was the dude that played that, but it doesn't matter because now it's Jason V. So whoever Vivian Campbell is, sorry.
Shout out to Vivian.
Yeah. But so I think they do make a bass. I think right now they're just focusing on guitars, and every like this year's Kramer models are even like more fucking crazy 80s. They got that Snake Sabio guitar. It's got the airbrush snake all over it from Skid Row.
Ooh.
They just did a Tracy Guns guitar that's got like flames on it and shit. So they're bringing it back, and I think sooner or later they're gonna have to bring back like a vintage bass.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I like the hockey stick neck or headstock. What is that? Is that the right term? What is it?
yeah, the banana headstock. That's
Yeah.
what drew me originally.
Right.
Like with the Kramer 84, it's got the giant like banana headstock,
Yeah.
and then they just did like a Kramer vintage. It has the same hockey stick banana, but it's like it's a little bit angled and it's a little smaller. And I thought, yeah, no problem, I'll get that. It'll be fine. It's not fine. The headstock has to be big. So I like it, but that big headstock is where it's at. So you know, it's got that big headstock energy. That's what you need.
BHE. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. So you got when did Blood in the Streets come out? Was that right before the pandemic? Or was that the tour that you guys were going to do during the pandemic?
Yeah, well, kind of. So, like, Blood in the Streets came out, and because at that time, especially, and we, from the beginning to like right after Blood in the Streets came out, we had zero label support.
Right.
We didn't work with labels. We didn't do it, was all in house. So, we made the record. So, there's a little fucking money off the pile, a good bit of money for that one. Up until then, it was, we didn't spend a lot, but we tried on that one. And then we pressed it up on CD, and we were like, we're going to, we pressed like 2,000 CDs because we're like, we're fucking go everywhere.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the money to put out vinyl
It's
until we
expensive.
sold
Yeah.
enough CDs. So we put out the CD, we went on tour. As soon as we got back from tour, we had enough money to put out the vinyl, and we got that process started. And then by the time we were ready to go on our tour again with the vinyl,
Yeah.
that show, the first show where we had our vinyl, with us, it was shut down, pandemic. And now we're at the place now where we have about like 25 LPs left. So when we go back, we still won't have the vinyl. So it sucks because I like, you want to go out on tour and,
Have
fucking
stuff. Yeah.
deliver that in person and sign the record, but it didn't work out that way. But maybe we'll get a repress here soon or something.
Man, well, yeah, it's it's there could be worse problems of if you could have like a pallet full of vinyl. That'd be a bigger problem, you know what I'm saying?
That you're right. Yeah, that would be rough. And yeah, I mean it's cool. It's definitely cool. It was like it's just a strange time when it's reminded me that the digital age has not fully taken over because people in punk rock and metal still buy records. I still buy records,
Right.
and I think people in our genre that listen to your band, my band, they still want to hold a copy of that record. So even though we weren't seeing people in person, they still, they were still supporting. And I mean, honestly, I think, in other genres, where the people that listen to the music are not as diehard,
Right.
I think a lot of bands are going to die because of this pandemic. Whereas punk rock bands, metal bands, people with crazy like obsessive collector fan bases are going to be all right because people know our support, from the merch store never ever dropped off, and that's
Right.
what kept us going.
Yeah. I think because just from the outsider perspective on y'all, it seems like people are always down to buy y'all's merch. Like, I don't know, just from like Dummy Room people. Dummy Room, for people who don't know what Dummy Room is, it's another podcast, like pop punk podcast, and stuff like that, where you guys can be like, hey, we've got this new shirt exclusive, and people are going to buy it up.
Yeah, and you know what? Like those dudes, I always say it like those. There's like it's almost like in every state we go to on tour, we meet like 4 or 5 people like that are like diehard supporters, and those dudes have no idea, and girls, dudes are everybody to me.
Yeah.
They have no idea how much they keep bands going. And I
Right.
mean, like, I'm that guy for other bands myself, like there are bands, there's one band in particular that I buy everything, every variant. And so I get that too. And I also realize, like, without those people, that there are a lot of people in the dummy room. There are a lot of people, just like Jason's people, that they know, like, when they buy something, they know that they're supporting it, and they feel like, yo, like, we want to help the Jasons, make another record or whatever. So it's those people that have kept, I think, bands alive during the whole thing, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. It's a weird. Weird might be a bad word, but it's a cool thing, playing in other, like you're saying, other states and connecting with people that you wouldn't connect with otherwise. And then they're like, oh, they might tell their friends, and their other friends might be like, oh, well, this. And then you see, being on the band side of it, being like, oh, I see where this person bought this thing, or this person commented on this thing, and then tracing it back, because I know I do that when I see somebody I don't know posting about us or buying something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I run the merch, like, I ship it out, I package it all myself, and like, um I recognize, it's like, man, I've seen this person's name like 5, 6, 7, 8 times,
Right.
and it's cool because every once in a while you'll be on tour and someone will be like, yo, I bought this, and I'll be like, yo, what's your name? And then I'll like connect it, so
Yeah.
um that's one of the, I guess, the benefits of getting to be the person that runs the merch, is like, I have a connection to so many people because, like, I've seen their name, over and over in our merch store, that I'm like, yo, that's the dude that fucking, bought $100 worth of merch that time when we were trying to print up a record or
Right.
whatever, like, that's a huge deal. I
Yeah.
don't I really think the key to having, I guess it depends on what you think is success, but for me, the key to having a like longevity is not having a ton of people that casually like your stuff. It's having a small
Die
group of
hard.
people that are fucking crazy about your
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been lucky enough to have some people who buy everything and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's a weird world, that we live in. Going playing shows. I'm not trying to get too deep, but playing shows, fucking 10 hours away from where you live, and being like, please like us, you know what I'm saying? And then, somebody does like you, and they're super into it.
Yeah, and well, and then you meet, inevitably too. It's the same way, like, you meet bands. You guys were one of those bands where it
Yeah.
was like, we showed up at your house,
Yeah.
at one of your houses at like 4 a.m. and slept on your floor, and
Right.
like, that's a whole part of that thing too,
Yeah.
because, like, I mean, we are, and I'm sure, like, most punk bands are that way, where like, you try to save money where you can, no matter how good you did at the door, no matter
Right.
how, because it all goes back in. So like, we would rather sleep at the homeless shelter than buy a hotel. We are that band.
Right.
But so, and a lot of times other bands, they get it, and they'll, offer their homes and stuff. Like, it's, it's part of that cycle of support.
Right.
I've never been a proponent of, like, support the scene. I'm not about support the scene, because I think the scene encompasses a lot of stuff that reminds me of high school. But I say,
Yes.
support bands that you think are good.
Yes.
Support other bands when, I'm not about throwing support for stuff I don't like, because that's
Right.
inauthentic. But but I certainly, any band that comes through this town, regardless of what kind of music they play, or if I like it, if they need a place to stay, they're gonna fucking stay.
Right.
They can, obviously. But that's the huge part of it. It really is.
Right.
100%.
There's a funny thing that I thought of as you were saying that. So we stayed at your house in the basement. After I forgot the name of the town, but we played in West Virginia at like Cheesy's Fun House or what's it called?
Um, I'm trying to remember where.
Cheddar's? No.
I know you may have played at 123 Pleasant Street
No, no,
or
no. We played with y'all in another town in West Virginia.
that's a good question. Sometimes I'm bad with remembering the names of venues. I'm
But
trying to
it
think.
was like something fun place. It seemed like a Chuck E. Cheese, but without the animatronics.
Oh man, that's with all the good stuff removed from Chuck E. Cheese, in my opinion. Man, I
Exactly.
love a good animatronic. But yeah, I don't know. We played at Munchies. That's where we played.
Munchies. Yeah, I was like cheesies, something. Yeah, Munchies.
Yeah,
But so we
Munchies is gone now. Munchies is
R.I.P.
it's
Jeez,
R.I.P. Yeah.
man, that makes you think.
It wasn't COVID though. It just happened before COVID, you
Yeah.
know. I still that place always baffled me because sometimes we would drive down there and Munchies was one of those spots where like they're gonna pay you your guarantee, no matter if nobody comes or whatever. And they always did. And a lot of times it was empty. And I was like, number one, why do they keep bringing us back here to the middle of nowhere? Number two, where's the money coming from? And they always feed you and they give you a fucking green room. You know, you were there. It was
Yeah.
like, it was a strange place.
Buckets
But
of beer. Yeah.
yeah, they were so welcoming. So I don't know where the fucking money was coming from. Maybe it was the fucking mafia or something. But
I don't know, but
I don't mind a little blood money, you know?
I remember they had Chris Jericho's band Fozzy. They had an 8x10 with signed. So I guess Fozzy had played at Munchies.
You know I wish I kind of wish I would have known that was happening because I would have tried to either get on the show or go see it. You know.
But I to go back to staying at bands' houses. So we stayed at your house after that show. We got there, I don't know, whenever, the morning, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and we stayed in the basement. And I didn't maybe in my just like delirium of like going to sleep, I didn't realize that there was an arcade cabinet down there of Judge Dredd, and so I remember being woken up by a Judge Dredd sound.
So actually, that was, and the reason it was in the basement is because I have to say I'm ashamed. It wasn't actually Judge Dredd. It was a RoboCop arcade cabinet, and in my world, RoboCop is a fake Judge Dredd, but I still like RoboCop. Now, since you guys were here last, I sold that cabinet and bought a Judge Dredd cabinet, so all is right with the world now.
Damn it! Maybe fuck. What's wrong with me? Maybe my delirium. I was like, I see other Judge Dredd stuff around. Maybe it's
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, you were surrounded by dread in that basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd. What hits you about Judge Dredd that?
You know, when I was so later on it was different, but early, you know, when I was a teenager, I was a little fucking thrasher, you know. Had the bullet belt, and my favorite band was Anthrax because Anthrax were very different from other bands. They didn't just sing about Satan. Well, you know, Satan's cool, but I wanted to hear people singing about fucking Stephen King novels and this and that. And
Right.
Anthrax had a song called I Am the Law about Judge Dredd. And I always wondered, like, what is that? Like, I need to find it. But Judge Dredd's a British comic, and we live in the United States. And the only thing I could find was that Stallone movie that's terrible. And so many years later, I tracked down Judge Dredd, and I discovered one of the best science fiction, political, societal satires in all of comic book history.
Really?
A comic that's been going since the 70s and has never rebooted, that's gritty and violent and absurd. And, you know, it influenced the Jasons for sure. I mean, our logo is the Justice Department eagle, just modified a little bit. It
Right.
influenced a lot. It really has influenced a lot of my like just my humor that I put into the songs and stuff is very influenced by 2000 AD. So for me, Judge Dredd is like, it's not a superhero comic. It's a very like dark, like it's almost an oracle. Back in 2011, very poignant to to what we're living right now. Back in 2011, Judge Dredd, the universe had an event called Day of Chaos, and during Day of Chaos, a a bug, a virus hit the entire population and wiped out a ton of them. And there were riots in the streets and police violence and police officers driving through crowds of people and people, and it was just like, the mega city is surrounded by this big border wall. And you just look at this and you're like, these guys were like oracles of the future. They
Right.
saw kind of like where things were going. And I just always found that real interesting, and it's the most punk rock comic on the planet,
Right.
But
Damn.
I mean, obviously I'm biased. It's the only comic book I fucking read, but
Well, damn.
yeah.
I didn't realize because my only, I guess I had known it was a comic book, but or a whatever a graphic novel, but my only exposure to it before was the Stallone movie, which I was like, this is pretty, I mean, as a kid, I was like, this is pretty cool. I'm the law, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you meet or you see that one and you wonder why, like, yeah, same deal. As a kid, you're like, all right, it's whatever. But you do wonder, like I know I did, like, why did Anthrax write a song about that movie? Like, but then you realize that was a really, like, the creators of Judge Dredd have renounced everything about that movie. He takes his helmet off, he falls in love with a girl. Like, in the world of Mega City, judges are celibate. And to the degree that if a judge goes to jail, like if they're found to be like like if they go, there's a prison planet for judges that went bad, they get their dicks cut off. Like in that series, so Judge Dredd is really, he's also a villain. I mean, that's the thing that people don't realize. In the Stallone movie, he was portrayed as a hero,
Right.
but in Judge Dredd, he is the guy you don't want to be. He is the arm of the fascist dictatorship, and sort of watching the characters react to that. Spoiler alert, like recently in Judge Dredd, he was told by the originator of the judge system that it wasn't supposed to be forever. Like, we're monsters. We've created something horrible that has to change. He doesn't know how to do that. He's the only one that knows. And so there's all kinds of moral weirdness in Dredd that makes it good. But people mistake Dredd as like a hero, but he's
Right.
the example of what happens if things go way, way too far out of control.
Wow.
So, and I feel like the punk scene is full of a bunch of Judge Dredds. That's why, like,
Ooh.
when we started singing about the scene police, who
Right.
are the people that tell you what you should and should not do in punk rock,
Right.
we are taking the part of the scene police, obviously, but it's a little bit more of a Judge Dredd sort of thing where we're like, who makes the fucking rules? You know what I'm saying? Like, who
Right.
makes the fucking rules?
Right. Well, yeah, I think, a big thing right now is people of what do they call it, virtue signaling. I think that's a big thing where it's trying to make, they get off by saying you are doing wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't want to get political. We're talking about Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Well, I think that we live in a society of paranoia, for one,
Yes.
because and I think what people are doing, and I honestly don't think there's malice behind a lot of it. I think there's fear behind a lot of it, which is people
Ooh.
feel like if they can point out somebody else's
Ooh.
wrongdoing, that exonerates them from their
Ooh.
own.
Damn.
And the motherfuckers that I know are not doing terrible things are the people that aren't trying to join the witch hunt. You know what I mean? Like, good example, we just put out a fucking music video called Kill a Commie for Mommy. It We did a split with a band called the Black Russians.
Right.
So they wrote a song about destroying the Jasons in the USA without a fucking thought. Fucking kill a commie for mommy. That's an old Cold War saying that was
Right.
on Johnny Ramone's t-shirt, blah, 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 blah. In our video, we had Jason's mother's head that we've been carrying with us for 7 years. We posted our video and some guy was claiming that that was Bernie Sanders' head and that we were cutting off the head of communism and we were alt-right and this and that. And Jason 3D, we were both on there sort of setting the dude straight, because when you throw the fucking truth at people, sometimes they don't want to listen, but we
Right.
were on there and Jason 3D said something that, like, it was the best response. He just said, no matter how much you want it to be Bernie Sanders' head, it will never be that. No matter how much you want it to be something more than a fucking Rocky IV parody with Jason's mother's head, it'll never be that. So quit. And we, when we presented this dude with the evidence, I have to say it gave me faith in humanity, because this guy said, okay, I understand now. Like, I'm sorry. It's a sensitive time. And he apologized. And
Oh, wow.
I was ready to fucking fight till the death. But as much as I like to irritate people and I like to push people's buttons, that was not a button I had intended to push. So I was like, nah, now I just feel like you're misunderstanding the point.
Right.
But yeah, I was surprised because this guy went from calling us fucking whatever, alt-right or whatever. He went from that to apologizing. And I just felt like that was very rare in the world of the
true.
internet today. I mean,
yeah, people are very quick to make very strong statements, but when they are presented with the counter argument, they don't want to be like, oh, well, I didn't see it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one thing
we can't change. I think it would be, there were people when that video came out, when we announced our split with the Black Russians, a fan of the somebody who likes the Jasons messaged me and he said, hey V, I know I understand it, but releasing a record where you're promoting it by saying we're going to destroy the Black Russians might not be a good look in these times. And I said, dude, if I considered that every time I wrote a lyric or came up with something, like I'd be losing the fight. I might as well hang it up, because you don't want to fucking change your shit because some dickhead might not understand it.
Right.
Punk rock isn't supposed to be safe. Art's not supposed to be safe. Like, you can't like foolproof your artistic vision to make it okay. So to make it so every dummy understands it, you just don't.
Right. Well, another thing about y'all, I don't feel like there's malice behind the stuff y'all do. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like you guys are like, because a lot of people are trolls right now. And I don't feel like there's any of that with y'all. And if like what you're just saying, people being like, hey man, this might not look good. I feel like they think that there's like troll intent, but I don't think that's a thing with y'all.
Yeah, you're not really. I mean, I think that people, to me, a troll is somebody that goes after like low hanging fruit,
Yeah.
like, to me, if I had made a video and cut off Bernie Sanders' head, that's a troll move, because
Right.
I'm trying to get that reaction. But no, I think we get called trolls because we're not trying to be friends with everybody, because we're not tiptoeing around the stuff that like we do. If the Jasons had a beef or a problem or an axe to grind, we wouldn't be grinding that axe in secret. We would put it right out there, like we have with fucking Kickstarter bands and pay to play. And
Right.
scene politics, like that's the stuff, like there's no need to like hide that stuff in
Right.
there.
Yeah.
And so no, I think, even when we put like a naked midget on our album cover, that really wasn't a troll. um it wasn't to offend people, because let's be honest, we live in a world where every 40-year-old mommy has a black craft cult t-shirt and a pentagram
Yeah.
necklace. Like there's no edgy anymore, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like what the fuck is edgy anymore? Not, it's not the 80s anymore. I wish it was. I really wish it was, because tits on an album cover would blow people's
Go
minds.
crazy.
But
You guys got the guitars for it. You got,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know that we're like, I like to push buttons in a
Right.
different way than a troll way.
That's why that's what I was saying. I wasn't calling you guys trolls. I was being like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, I think there's a fine line between just looking for attention and putting on like a good fucking satirical humorous show. And a lot of people think, good example, I mean, right now you're talking to about, 50% of a fake person. But which 50% are you talking to and which are you not? We'll never tell you. You know what I mean? You'll never know.
I don't know.
And I like that. I like that people don't know when I'm serious and when I'm not, because I mean, you shouldn't have to fucking explain everything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. There's no fun in that. And
Yeah. I mean,
explaining everything.
although you've hung out with me at my house and stayed in my basement, so you probably know the secret of the fucking.
I mean, I do. I'm not going to tell anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So where's the fun in 100% transparency?
Yeah. It's not fun. I did have a question of you guys played the Gathering of the Juggalos. Can you run me through that experience?
Yeah. So we I mean, for as far as I'm concerned, the Insane Clown Posse are not, they're not far from being in the wheelhouse of someone like Kiss or Jason. They've
Right.
built an empire based on their gimmick, and I respect them for that. And we saw that they were accepting bands, and we were laughing and said, ha ha ha, let's just go ahead and submit it. Why the fuck not? And then they called us, and it was like, holy fuck, okay, well, yeah, because we're definitely never going to turn down an opportunity to play in front of potentially like thousands and thousands of people. So we camped out, we set up our merch, we stayed all of the days. I lived as a juggalo for 4 days. I'm not kidding.
How many Fagos did you drink?
That was it. That was all I drank. I was, by the end of it, I was communicating in their languages. Like you walking down, I was walking. I kept my leather jacket and my mask on the whole time. I mean, literally, if I was outside of the fucking van, Jason V was outside of the van. And if, walking by my juggalo brothers, whoop, whoop, motherfucker, what's up? I don't even, and this is like, and I'll tell you what, man, it was scary at times. It was,
how so?
It was, because there is definitely, when you get that many people together, and there was
powder keg.
There were no police. Police were not allowed on the property. There were free drugs for everybody, and people just looking to destroy shit. Now, the only time I felt like I might be in danger myself was one night I put on my full scene police getup. I had white gloves on. I had my police hat on, my mask. I had a bully club, and I was just walking around on patrol, and I kept seeing, it was freaking people the fuck out because they're using whatever they're using.
Whatever, yeah.
And they're just like, whoa, you scared the fuck out of me, And I thought, I'm probably going to get attacked here, but I had to go on patrol that night, so I went on patrol that night. But I don't know, man. It was cool. My only the thing that made me sad is on the way down we listened to Violent J's book. And if you're in a band, and this goes for anybody listening, if you want to hear a masterpiece of a book about how to start a band, how to promote a band, the most interesting autobiography we have ever heard is Violent J's fucking Behind the Paint book. And there's a story in there called The Road where they found a weird monastery and almost got shot and killed by some crazy people at this monastery. Long story short, I wanted to talk to Violent J's brother, Jump Steady, and hear that from his lips, but
Right.
he's like in charge of shit.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's so busy. I never got to talk to him. It was great though, man. We fucking we opened up for KRS-One essentially. We played right before KRS-One.
Jesus.
Now, it was like so that's how I will always say we opened for KRS. We played and then KRS played, but in my world we fucking opened for KRS-One. So, whatever. Was it on a different stage? Fuck yeah, it was, but we still open for KRS-One, god damn it.
Hell yeah, dude. Fucking, rap royalty, the Jasons.
I guess so. And we would go back every year, every single fucking year. But when I was done with the gathering, I was glad to be leaving because it was exhausting. It was fucking exhausting.
Where is it in? Where is it? Ohio? Where is it?
I don't know where it's going to be coming up because at the end of and we stayed to the end because we wanted to see it.
Right.
The night before we played, the night before it ended, and I saw this security guard sitting like this.
It's like done.
Yeah, and I said, "Hey, man, you just got one more day left," and he goes, "It's going to get bad tomorrow." And I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Yeah, they're going to riot tomorrow, and I got to be here." And he was right, man. It was a full-scale riot. I don't know how they produced a couch and threw it into a bonfire in the middle of a campground, but they did. And so I don't think it's going to be in the same place because I think shit gets so crazy that they got to move around, But honestly, though, like the first thing I heard a Juggalo say when I got there was a big truck full of people going into the camp. And there was this big, heavy dude, 300 or 3 or 400 pound man sitting on the back of this Jeep. And somebody goes, "Oh man, I'll get the next one. There's no room for me." And this big dude goes, "Nah, come on, man. You're family. There's always room for you here at the gathering." And I was like, you know what? These motherfuckers will accept anybody. So we're going to be all right.
Damn.
So it was crazy.
Wow.
There was a community fleshlight at the gathering. I have a photo. I'll have to send it to you.
Please. Was it a what's his name? Mike from Monsters Inc. Commemorative fleshlight.
I don't know.
Mike Waskowski.
There was a wooden stake and it went up and the fleshlight was chained to it, and there was a big sign with a hatchet man and it said community fleshlight, and I thought, damn, they got everything here.
Damn, what else do you need? Yeah, you get inside the grounds and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So are you a big wrestling fan?
When I was 8 years old, I became a fan of wrestling because it was fucking Hulkamania, right? So, I was a big fan of Hulk Hogan when I was a little kid.
Right.
Then I kind of grew out of it, So I would say, I enjoy wrestling? Yes, I do enjoy wrestling if it is WrestleMania 5. There we go.
Man, I should have asked you this before we started this interview.
Yeah?
Because we wouldn't have done this interview. I'm just joking. No. Well,
are you not a Hulkamaniac?
No, I'm just a wrestling fan. I'm a huge wrestling fan.
I got you.
No, my thing was so Kiss and you guys and professional wrestling, all that intertwines for me. Like all three are very big into merch. All three are very big into the the stage. I don't know, craziness of it all. So that's I was gonna see if I asked Michael J. Wolf, who we both know. I was asking him if he was big into wrestling with the the pageantry of the bands.
Oh, absolutely. And I will tell you this. So having stopped um listening to or watching wrestling in the Hulkamania days, I never stopped being interested in that element, the creation, the pageantry. So even when I wasn't watching, um, I discovered my very first wrestling podcast, and that turned into me discovering other wrestling podcasts. So even without watching, right,
Right.
I still listen to so many wrestling podcasts because the creation and the personalities and that stuff is interesting to me. So like all the fucking Conrad Thompson shit, I listen to all that shit. But it's that like understanding of how people, the business of wrestling being such a protected business and how to create a character. So I definitely relate to it on that level 100%. But I like a character.
Right.
And what wrestling became to me for so long was dudes trying to be MMA guys. You know, I miss Kamala the Ugandan giant and shit like that.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was cool stuff.
Yeah. The Attitude Era, the late '90s became like all the characters are real. You know what I'm saying? Like Stone Cold Steve Austin was like himself, like amplified
Yeah.
type of thing. Um, so have the Jasons ever been asked to do any wrestling type stuff?
Yeah. We did there's a wrestling promotion called RSW, Real Shoot Wrestling. And we played one of their shows, which was fucking cool. And that's as we played their shows, I've become friends with some of those guys, and
Yeah.
we realized that the business of wrestling and being in a band is the same thing.
Yeah.
You go from town to town.
It's punk rock. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely. You deal with promoters, you deal with your gimmick table. So yeah, we played and we got involved a little bit. We've been involved in a couple matches where we came out with the dude and we were his like backup and he lost the match, and so we had to fucking tell him he was a poser in front of everybody and stuff. But um for us, like, I think we definitely identify with that side of it, the pageantry, the business, like. And it's the same thing. Like if I see a band and they don't look cool, I'm like, that band sucks. And it's the same thing with wrestling. You see a dude that doesn't have his shit together, you're like, fuck that guy. But then Demolition walks out in leather and face paint, fucking take notice. When we played with you guys had your fucking jerseys on, and I was like,
Yeah.
these guys fucking get it.
Yeah.
They know they gotta have something coming out there that makes people take notice, you
Right.
know?
Oh yeah. 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 It's all gimmicks. Life is a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? I think the sooner bands realize that, the sooner people are going to take notice.
There's a term in wrestling that I've heard listening to these fucking podcasts called working yourself into a shoot. You heard that before,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. And I think that's when people start to lose it, is when when they work themselves into a shoot, when they believe their own hype and they start to get lazy. Oh, I am the greatest, I don't have to do anything. Like, I think you always gotta make sure that you don't buy into your own hype too much. Believe in yourself is one thing, but working yourself into a shoot is letting yourself believe that, like, so when it comes to wrestling, right? Like, um, part of wrestling and part of that pageantry is coming out being bit larger than life.
Right.
You need to do that for your performance element, but if you try to do that on a daily basis, you end up like Sid Vicious. You end up dead, you
Yeah.
know? Um, Johnny Rotten once said that only the fake survive, and I think that's a good
Damn.
point when it comes to rock and roll.
It's true.
You you can't live the gimmick all day every day. You drive yourself crazy.
It's true, man. Holy moly. Yeah. We're closing in on an hour here. So Kiss is very big. And that's a big thing. From 3D is big into Kiss. I don't know if are you as big into Kiss as 3D is?
Yeah. My first record that I ever owned was a Kiss record, and it changed my whole life. It's the reason that I knew I had to be in a band that had an image.
Right.
It is everything. Like if there was no Kiss in my life, I wouldn't be in a band right now. I wouldn't be doing anything. And when I met 3D, it was weird because he's younger than me, and he had the same kind of love for Kiss that I had, at a different time in my life. When I was younger, I saw Kiss on the reunion tour. I was really young. I saw him on the reunion tour, and
96 or something. Yeah.
Kiss. Yeah. Or it was 96. You're right. Yeah. And so when I met him, he was huge into Kiss, more than I was at that time because I kind of fallen off. And
right.
I delved in. I still listen to him, but I was listening to a lot more punk rock and the Ramones, and he had never heard the Ramones when we met. And so I introduced him to the Ramones, and he reintroduced me to Kiss, and we kind of stoked each other's fucking fires for both bands, and that's how we kind of took this direction that we've taken. So to me, like, Kiss is the day that I got Kiss Killers and Kiss Crazy Nights on vinyl, or I'm sorry, on cassette, when I was 8 years old, was the most important moment in my musical journey, and it changed everything.
Right.
100%.
Wow. Yeah, I love it.
What was yours? What was the band that did that for you?
The band that did what? Stoked.
Like, would there be like a single band that started you wanting to do what you do?
Oh goodness. I tell you what. Ramones are up there for sure. But we don't even sound like them. But AFI was a huge inspiration for me as a teenager, because like Sing the Sorrow in like 2003. Yeah. I was 13 when that came out, and so I was just like, what the fuck is this?
It certainly lives. Sing the Sorrow and AFI in general live in a place in between musical genres that is hard to pinpoint.
Right.
I love that band has so many eras. Like, I'm a straight edge, and so there's a whole short time in AFI where like they were a straight edge band, and then they became the best horror punk band, and then they became something a little bit more progressive. Right. Like, I respect a band that can evolve so much. I like that about AFI myself. Plus, that dude, fucking Davey Havok's voice is fucking incredible.
Yeah, go all over the place,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, those bands, like, and later on, it's weird. I've grown to like Kiss more and like understand stuff about Kiss, and even like whenever we were setting this talk up, I was just sending you like because I was watching a Kiss live. I was sending you stuff about Kiss in 1988 playing
Yeah.
some show fucking in Germany or whatever, and I was like, hey, when are you gonna play this shitty guitar that Paul Stanley's playing?
Probably soon. Yeah. Dude, you know, the thing is, like, when I discovered Kiss, they had already taken the makeup off. And so I got a record of them that had them on it with the makeup and without. And it was like, even when they didn't have it on after having seen that, they still carried that. Like, I told somebody one time when I was a little kid, I loved fucking heavy metal, what they would call hair metal now, I
Right.
suppose. But like, I loved like Motley Crue and all that stuff. And as a really young kid, I would have these fantasies that I was gonna hang out with Motley Crue and we were gonna whatever, you know, like we were gonna do cool Motley Crue shit. I was a little kid, but I never had a fantasy about hanging out with Kiss because that would be like hanging out with fucking Superman or Jesus. Like they were so far above in what they presented themselves at
Right.
that my mind couldn't even formulate what it would be like to hang out with Kiss. Like, and even to this day, I went and saw Kiss on their most recent reunion tour. There's probably some lip syncing. Paul Stanley's voice sounds very rough,
They're like
but I swear
70.
to God,
When do you get?
yeah. And I was looking up at Paul Stanley singing "I Was Made for Loving You," and and this sounds crazy, but I remember thinking like that gods do exist. I mean, it's just true. Like I mean, it sounds fucking cheesy, but it's like they've created something so much bigger than most bands, and they did it first and foremost with their image.
Right.
So, you know,
Damn.
do I think Paul Stanley's the greatest singer ever? No. Do I think they're the greatest songwriters ever? No. But the total package is they're fucking gods. It's perfection to me,
Right.
you know.
I don't know. I don't know. Tears Are Falling. That's a good song.
Yeah, I love 80s Kiss. That's my favorite shit.
Yeah. No. You know. Would there ever be a time where there's a Jason's Unmasked?
No, definitely not for us. I think it's a little bit easier with a band like Kiss because, you know, even with the makeup on, you can still see that's their face. But if I put on
Oh,
even
that's
a
true.
hockey mask, you know, and you know, I love Kiss without the makeup 100%, but I think we are in the kind of on that realm of a band that's a little bit more like Gwar. Like, even though we don't have these theatrics as much, I mean, essentially, we're just a punk band wearing masks. We really don't have like we're not a crazy, but, you know, Odorous Urungus and Dave Brockie are two totally different
Right.
entities, you know, and I don't think, I wouldn't want to see a Jason's without the masks, you know. So I don't think we would ever do it. And when I talked to no, I was gonna say because I had spoken with Michael J. Wolf too. I
Right.
fucking love that guy, by the
Oh
way.
yeah.
But when I talked to Phil McCracken from the McCrackens, I asked him if they had ever played without the makeup, and he said one time, and it was like I could see it that it was this huge regret that they had sort of convinced themselves that they didn't want it anymore.
Right.
And he was like, we'll never do it again. And so like I try to take wisdom from dudes like that who have
Yeah.
made that decision and not. Yeah, when Kiss took off their makeup, they were successful. So, you know, but what does it tell you that they went back to it finally?
That's true.
Mean, at this
You're right.
point, they're back in it.
And they're still playing the Unmasked songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And you know my favorite live Kiss record is it's a fan made record called Alive 3. It's not the actual Alive 3, but it's from I think it's either from the Lick It Up or the Animalize tour.
Mm.
And they didn't play any of the 70s stuff. And I like that because you can see a Kiss that like had confidence in their new songs.
Right.
And unfortunately the Kiss that's playing today, they don't really have that desire to make new music, and so
Yeah.
it's a shame. I love the band, but I want a band that keeps making music, you know.
That's true.
You know, do we want fucking Davey Havok to go back and start singing songs from those from fucking Very Proud of You? No, we want progression, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Damn.
So
I think we've gone long enough. Do you have closing words of wisdom or anything you want to get off your chest?
Oh my God. I would say I will do self promotion since Jason 3D's not here and he normally does that. Right now, the Jasons are working with Mom's Basement Records. And I do have to say, as much as we had not worked with any record labels up until the pandemic, without Mom's Basement Records, we wouldn't have put out a fucking 7-inch. Without Pro Rock Records, we wouldn't have put out a 10-inch. So we found a collaborator in Mom's Basement that was like worthy of. They're not one of the shitty labels, but
Right.
my whole saying this is like, because of them, we can do more than just one record a year. So we've got a record coming out on Mom's Basement, another 7-inch record coming out like this year.
Right.
It's called the Jarvis House Split. It's got 2 old songs that we re-recorded from Get Fucked, and it's got 2 brand new songs, Jason V song and a Jason 3D song. And so that's coming out. So keep an eye on Mom's Basement Records. And yeah, that's all I got. That's our next venture, you know. And we got a 7-inch coming out. So
hell yeah. Well, Jason V, you had options, but you decided to talk to me. And I appreciate that. Please stay on for a second, but
right.
thank you. Yeah, thank you for being you and talking to me.